Hello and welcome to the SIS podcast. Today I'm here with the three remaining deadbeat boys, I guess you'd say, remaining in the country. Yeah. Do you guys want to just introduce yourselves real quick and we can jump in?
Hey, I'm Sean. I'm the drummer.
James, I'm the singer.
John, the guitarist.
And then I'll just say I'm not Miro, but he's or Milo. What is it? It's Milo or Miro? For you guys,
Both.
It's Milo.
Yeah, but his name's Miro or Miro or Miro.
Yeah.
The whole reason he got that nickname is our old bass player Vince. Like when he first met him, we jumped in a car. It was raining. It was outside O'Rourke Halls in Auckland, and he goes and he jumps in the car and he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm Miro," and Vince just goes, "Milo, sweet." It's the classic. Anyone who gets a nickname, it's just
immediately
you're stitched up and yeah. So call him whatever you want.
Yeah. There's been a bit of a, I guess, revolving door as far as band members are concerned. Like, how many band members have you guys been through?
There's more out of Deadbeat Boys than there is in.
Yeah.
Something about the bass, isn't it?
Yeah. So we had the original lineup was me. Oh fuck!
This is a good start.
Going back.
So there's the first version of Deadbeat Boys, which was like we played three post-punk songs at the Tauhara College, which was like a Taupo high school, in the auditorium opening for another band, and that was me, my mate Aaron, who was screaming, Taylor on guitar, Ben on drums, and Vince on bass. And then we entered RockQuest, and that was, I guess, their first official lineup, which we toured and did stuff with, which was me, Taylor Long, Matthias Williamson, Vince Southgate, and Ben Martelli. And then then Matthias left. We got John because I met him at my cousin's 21st, and he said he could play guitar. I feel like I've told this story.
You have told this one.
I know.
Yeah.
The first ever time.
See, we're getting into a repeat point, but then since then, there's been more changes as well.
Yeah, there's been, we've had, JB on bass, Ben on bass, Jake on bass, then Miro jumped on bass from
Told
guitar.
you it's the bass.
Yeah, it's the bass. So where's the bass?
And you played
lost
bass
in
for one show as well, didn't you?
I did,
Yes.
yeah. I guess I'm, close
That was
to
in Wellington.
Yeah.
Wellington with the
No.
No, it was.
King's Arms.
It was at King's Arms because we played
It's Battle of the Bands, wasn't it?
the one you're thinking was the Meow one where he was coming down the next day and it was just us, me, you, Ben, and
Miro.
Miro, yeah. When we were
That's right,
touring
it
with
was
Bakers.
King's Arms.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. Where were we? Welcome to the second episode of the Star Wars podcast.
Because I can't remember, was the one we did at, the interview we did at Ding Dong Lounge,
Yeah.
was that your first?
We'd done like a little promo-y thing for C4 or Channel 4 when we got Engineer funding for Robotronic.
Yeah.
And that was OG lineup. Oh no, you were there. That was at Ben's house, eh? And then that was our first kind of long form interview thing ever.
Yeah. And within the first minute, you were talking about gay sex.
It wasn't like it's a very cancelable offence now that I look back at it. Yeah. I have this. Yeah, I'm very much a foot and mouth kind of person. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, that was definitely our first chat, and that was when Miro had just joined the band, I think. So he was relatively
He was fresh.
Yeah,
Fresh
he
meat.
might have been still 17 or
Yeah. I mean, he was allowed to get into King's Arms, so.
Oh, so he might have been just 18. We played a few gigs where we had to like kind of bring him in with the
Super
gear.
early.
You know?
Yeah. And he just had to stay inside.
Yeah.
Before the bands
Don't
clock
move.
off.
Yeah. We learnt once where it was like we told the bouncers beforehand and then he had to come and play and then leave. So then we learnt our lesson to just not tell anyone.
Yeah. Just wait for someone to
admit it,
ask.
you know?
Yeah. And then go from there.
Yeah.
Because how long had Deadbeat Boys been doing its thing?
12 years.
12 years. Yeah.
So from my last year of high school to this year.
Yeah.
So 12
So it's
years.
definitely been a part of your life for most, or well, would you say is it? Oh, not quite most of your life.
I mean, like the most developmental parts
Yeah.
of my adult life is revolved around this band. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's insane. And
Yeah.
these people around me, including yourself.
Yeah.
Because the fucked thing is that the New Zealand, or the Auckland music scene's so small. I mean, New Zealand music scene as well, but like having people like yourself that prop up, bands is like, you just get to know you know? It's like seeing Aaron Leese with his camera or
the
Shelley.
familiar faces.
Yeah, you go into a gig and you see, it's you give them a hug because you haven't seen them since lockdown, or or you're outside having a dart.
And that's
punching a
one of
dart
the
off
things
them.
as well. You start to like, I mean, like the people you see at gigs, like you don't necessarily see them outside of that. But then there's almost like a void when you haven't seen these people for a long time, and it's just because that environment, I don't know, it just ends up being like almost like a second home kind of situation.
It's very wholesome, mate. It's very open. That's the one thing is like coming from playing gigs where you know everyone, it's your mates coming to the gigs and stuff, to coming up to Auckland and playing shows where you don't know anyone, and you start recognizing faces. You start meeting other bands. You realize just you have these reserved judgments of people that were beyond your capacity. Like, you see, I've heard them on the Rock. They must be like, massive. And then you just realize they're the exact same as you. They've got a day job. They're, unless they're John Toogood or whoever.
That is their day job.
Yeah. But, they're just as down to earth as you and just love a bit of banter and a cold one every now and then. So,
Yeah.
it's trippy. It's very cool.
And that, like making that kind of connection with people, you kind of see how they put on their show and put on their show persona, I guess, in contrast to, when they're just having a beer or outside having a smoke or whatever.
Yeah. It's very, anyone, I guess, who's put on a gig or who's been part of a gig in like a performance sense could probably attest to this, that on gig day, it's super hard to have a yarn. Especially you're the one organising it, Like, you just find it like, you'll see a mate there and you're like, oh man, I really wish I could spend like 25 minutes talking to you and just catching up. But
I've got 300 things I need to say. Yeah.
Make things happen.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because how was it playing that last show for all of you? Like, what was the vibes kind of like leading into it, as far as like rehearsals coming up and doing actually all the behind the scenes kind of vibe, show night, and kind of that realization when the dust settles afterwards?
You go, man. I've talked so much.
Oh yeah, it was like, I'd say like lots of ups and a little bit downs. Like rehearsal times, I think we only practiced like twice.
We did, yeah.
Like it was so bad, but we pretty much knew the songs. We're like, oh yeah, we'll just fluke it, And then getting up to that gig, that point, there was like, oh crap. And James is like, oh, we need to sort out all the amps, the drum gear and all that. And I was thinking, oh, crap. And I'm sure I'm not the only drummer, but you're like, crap, how much drums do I have to bring? And
Try to find parking.
what
on
happens?
K-Road.
And we send this sheet and then we're getting there and I'm like, sweet. Everyone's loading stuff in and I'm like, all right, I've got all my drums. And then they're like, oh, you only need like 3 things. I was like, fuck, like. But yeah, it was definitely lots of ups. And then like, I'll speak for myself, but I was super nervous because through COVID, we didn't play for years. And then I was like, shit, there's a lot of people coming to the show. Like tickets were selling so
Yeah,
quick.
people that you know.
And then
well.
and then I got up on stage and I was like, fuck, this is fantastic. Like within the first song, and it was like, I didn't want it to end. It was so guttering.
It was so surreal, yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, most of the 2 practices that we had were spent just talking shit. It was just reminiscing. Like literally talking
Just
about the time
catching up.
where the first day Sean joined the band, Miro's car broke down on the 420 off ramp on Takapuna, and we had to go up the motorway on ramp and push it back down up to Robbie's place in Takapuna, the basement.
That's a good like induction, like welcome to Deadbeat Boys.
Oh,
Yeah.
pretty
It
much.
was
Yeah,
nuts.
it was
And
We
that was
don't
also-
play music, we push cars.
Yeah. It was insane. And, just like reminiscing on all those stories, having a couple of beers, and then would just run like 3 songs and be like, hey, yeah, we still know them. Like we'd spent all this time recording since like the start of 2022, because because Milo was leaving, and we wanted to kind of have a nice little, I guess, bow, like, you know, ribbon on top or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a nice little cherry on top to finish the Deadbeat Boys. But yeah, so we knew all the songs. It was just us kind of coming to the realization of playing our last gig. Even just saying it's weird, man.
It's definitely crazy, and especially as you were saying, like with the end of it, like it didn't really hit. Like I was like, oh yeah, it's just another gig, and then you're like, oh, this is actually it. Like,
Yeah.
now, like now what I do with my life.
Yeah, honestly, like
it was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't get super wasted. I just, you know, had a couple of beers. We played the show. Like, our mate David, he was in Aussie touring with doing sound for 660, and he called up Tom, the owner of Whammy, and ordered some shots to get delivered to the stage. Yeah,
That's where that mystery tray.
yeah. So like our mate Dace, who's done sound for us for ages, he's from Repro as well, and yeah, he sent those up, and yeah, it wasn't until I swear probably about 2 weeks ago that it finally settled in, and the gig's been, you know, it was 2 days before New Zealand Music Month. That's when it happened. So
Yeah.
it's been a wee while since then, and it's only just really hit me that it's over. Like I don't see these guys every week, which breaks my heart. You know, like they're my fucking. They're some of my favorite people. We talk so much shit. Like Miro's halfway across the fucking world, that son of a bitch. But I still love him. But yeah, you know, like standing up there after we'd played. I can't even remember what we finished with too, probably, because it's like
Naturally.
yeah.
It was so. Oh, speaking of too, because we, with the older bass player before Miro jumped on bass, we used to go through New York into 2, and I did the seamless transition with the drum fill, and we never rehearsed it, but on that night, I just instantly just went
worked.
straight to it.
To autopilot.
And I remember playing, and then I look over in the corner, and Jake's just like, "Oh, he did that." He did that
all
fill. I
these
was like,
years.
it's just like, and again, as you said, like no rehearsals, pretty much just catching up, couple of songs, and we played a pretty crazy good show. It was unbelievable.
I mean, we sold out Whammy. Like we've played many gigs, and like I don't think I could. Like we played Power Station 3 times opening for international acts, and then COVID hit. Like that was still. I feel like that's still peak for me. You know,
And Tuning Fork
yeah, Tuning Fork
for
twice,
another international band. That was cool.
But like, yeah, the Whammy, we sold it out. Like that's fucking so rock and roll.
Yeah.
And then gave half of Auckland COVID.
That's definitely like the Deadbeat Boys like sign off that's appropriate. You know, like
Here's a
this is our final
yeah.
gig. Also,
something on
like
us.
surprise, here's a super spreader event.
So it was like, enjoy your COVID, and while you're feeling down, just think about you'll never see us again for 7 days.
Yeah.
So it was a good surprise.
It's the Deadbeat Boys strand.
John, how about you? How about like what's the vibe that you've kind of caught after, you know, the dust has settled? What's your kind of
Seamless way
feeling?
of including John there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John's he's the quiet one.
Yeah, so I'm throwing it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Well, going back, I'd echo Sean's comments. It was definitely one of the most nervous I've been before a gig. You know, I usually have a few beers and get up stage, and it's just, you know,
A few beers, mate.
it's just the usual. But this time, I was just completely nervous the whole time. I don't know why. Maybe it was the last gig. Maybe it's because we're headlining it. Oh, actually, people are turning up more than just 10.
It was the stress of refreshing the ticket, like the under the radar ticket sales, and seeing that there's 25 left now. Oh, there's 20, and we're just going. This is
might
weird.
do it.
Yeah.
They said it couldn't be done.
We said it could be done.
Yeah. But no, echoing James, it also took a while for it to sink in, because we weren't gigging every single weekend. So having a few weeks off was normal. But then, when the calendar's just like, it's the Wednesdays, it's the practice. Like, it's Wednesday. I've been busy on Wednesday since I was born, feels like. It's just
It's been
no-go
practice
day
day.
with the band.
Yeah.
And just having the empty spot on the calendar, just like, what do I do with myself?
Exactly.
I mean, I messaged these guys the first Wednesday. I ended up having to pull it out because of work, but like the first Wednesday after Milo had left, I was like, well, I'm off the piss, so should we just get together and play video games? Like, let's just get together and play fucking Halo or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was, it's the other thing with the gig, like that gig specifically, was because Mira had a hard out date. You know, it was the 11th. We were still in red at that stage. We didn't know if we were coming out. We started to feel that loosening up. So I'd messaged Whammy, I'd messaged Galatos, I'd messaged quite a few like medium-sized to bigger-sized venues, and a bit of a confidence, you know, like, oh yeah. I definitely thought we were going in the Whammy back room, but Whammy hit us up and was like, yeah, we can do the 29th. It's a Friday. We're like, sweet, let's do it. And then everything from there was just like, okay, now I've got to do a poster. Now I've got to do this. Yeah. And so like we, you know, from me designing the poster, organising the tickets, then going between like what we were going to do, how we're going to do this, organising run sheet, bands, all that kind of stuff. The normal stuff that you do for organising a gig was just like, that's probably another thing that exacerbated the reason that we didn't actually click, that it was the last gig, you know?
Because there was like almost like a run of autopilot.
Yeah.
As far as like, we're just putting on another show. And then when it starts to get closer and closer to it, that's when like reality starts to hit.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Because was that probably the longest that you guys have played?
Yeah, I'd say so. We've had some pretty like self-indulgent sets before. You know, like it'd be us and another band playing at Portland, and we'd just be like, oh, I think the first time we played there, they were like, oh, you need to start at 9:30, and you can't. There needs to be music running until 1:30 or something. Yeah, it was something ridiculous like that. And we're like, oh, okay, so if James talks enough shit in this part, you know, we muck up maybe the start of this.
So we used to make
monologue.
We used to make like 8 songs go for essentially 2 hours with his banter.
When we didn't cut him off.
It was like, we're getting to the end of the set talk. Just say some shit.
Yeah.
And then you just got to stop him with the count in, and you say, "Oh, no, it's under."
It's usually Milo. Milo just saying, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, no one here cares what you like. You just rip into me. Which is the best.
It was so cool.
Yeah, but no, it was definitely like we played almost everything we have, like from start to finish. We played our first ever single that we released, and we played the last songs, all the last songs that we're going to release on this album. So
well, let's go into the album then. Like, what's going on here? You know, like, again, it's a very Deadbeat Boys thing to do, to
not have released
to be a band for 12 years and not have released an album and then call it a day and be like, surprise.
It's an album.
Yeah, it's...
It was, that's a weird experience, though. Like, for ages, I mean, for me, I was like, oh, I'm so keen to do albums, and...
Yeah,
you know, it was just not happening, and everyone had busy times, and there was ups and downs. And then it was like Mira was like, "Nah, look, guys, I'm gonna be leaving." This is before he confirmed he was going, and he's like, "No, I really want to finish off. Let's just record shit. Any crap songs that we've got, we'll just chuck them on."
Down. Yep.
I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And it was at first it was just to me like just recording songs with Mira. It's not going to turn into an album. And then he's like, we've got like 2 months.
Yeah, then he got the plane tickets and we're like, okay, we should record now.
We should start.
But no, like the thing, like he told me last, and we went to the pub, and it was like almost like he was like, you know, coming clean to like mum about, sorry, you know, like, I accidentally crashed the car kind of thing. You know, like it was like, I'm going overseas, and I was like, part of me is like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You filthy son of a bitch. But also, like, you know, he's young, he's the coolest dude. Like, I'd kick myself if he didn't do it. But he was just like, look, I've got a hard end date, so get your ass in the studio so we can record these songs. So we essentially just we've been playing a lot of the fuck thing about Deadbeat Boys, right?
There's a lot of
ones. No, essentially, so we'll go through a hot period and we'll write all these songs, and then we'll lose a member, and so we bring someone new in, and we have to teach them all the songs, and by the time we've taught them all the songs, we get a bit of momentum, we write another song, we lose a member. So we held on to all these songs for so long. Some of them we've rejigged for this album, some of them not. You're probably going to really hate audio editing this because I was standing back here for about 10 minutes. But, like, this was the end point, you know. We'd written a lot of these songs in the last probably 6 months or longer, and then the other half we'd written maybe 2 years ago. So it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. You know, it's like it's us. It's the last of the Deadbeat Boys.
Yeah. Because how many songs on it?
12.
12?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going through the like thought process of getting it pressed to vinyl and stuff. Like obviously we're not doing any more gigs, so we don't have an income to be able to fund it. Yeah, but it's still something I think we want to do. And yeah, I think it's just like, you know, we did this thing. Well, yeah, half of us went and got some like Deadbeat Boys tattoos, and it was kind of like this. I mean, you guys haven't yet, but you know,
Still time.
I was hesitant. I was like, oh.
They've still got that virgin skin.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was much easier for me to go and like, yeah.
Just another.
Yeah, just fuck me up, fam.
Right under the left butt cheek.
Well, funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, funny you like I at my stag do, these guys organised a tattoo for me. I was like a bottle of wine and 3 beers deep by the time I got there at 10 a.m. in the morning. And they showed me the tattoo as I walked into the tattoo, like into the parlour in Taupo, and it was like, oh yep, I'm getting Hey Nuck and J Nuck on my like right under my ass on my left thigh. So yeah, I took the front left thigh for the the obligatory Deadbeat Boys one, and then did the lip as well, like the Deadbeat on there, which is not Shelton's band, but
yeah. I mean, when you do Google, it does come up.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that though. Like there was many a time when he first started that we would get tagged in like the posts. It'd be like, oh, this is the announcement for Homegrown, and then they've tagged us.
Yeah.
instead of Shelton's band.
You're like, all right.
Yeah, I was like, hey,
We'll take it.
No one emailed us, but
Yeah, we'll play it.
we can do it, yeah.
Sweet as. Because do you have like, you're going through like release scheduling and all that sort of stuff now? What's the kind of timeline you guys are looking at?
I mean, that's still pretty loose. We've got all the final masters back. We've got all the artwork's almost finalized. It's just making sure we're all happy with it. And then, we're pretty sure we're just ready to release it. But I think we just want to make sure we do it right. We've always rushed into things. But I mean, there's no rush on this one. We're already fucking over. So. But yeah.
Or is there any kind of like embargo or anything on any titles?
No, I mean, we're still probably... Like the name of the album?
Yeah.
No embargo. We're just it's self-titled. We've never released an album before, so
I was thinking
we can use that one.
Yeah.
I was thinking you guys would go that way as well.
Yeah. It was like we'd tossed up between a few things like the death of Deadbeat Boys, like or like the end of Deadbeat Boys or something like that, or Deadbeat, like because it's what's on the tattoo and stuff, and that was just going to be the artwork. But no embargo. We're just gonna keep it simple.
Yeah, self-titled.
Yeah.
I'm definitely keen to hear it because where did you, as far as like recording it and everything like that, was it all? So Miro Milo did it all.
Yeah.
Drums done.
It was all in his place.
Yeah.
So
He's got a little shed in his backyard.
Yeah.
And he's just like, we've recorded so much there, and he finally finessed the sound, and obviously the more he's done it, the better he's got, and he's really just kind of like, he knows that room like the back of his hand, and what we got out of it's fucking sick.
it's really good. Yeah.
Like we just trip out and constantly wax lyrical about how good it sounds. It's without like wanking off about it. We're the most like self-deprecating band in Auckland, but like we love our song.
Weren't you recording vocals with COVID?
Yeah. Miro was like, I was supposed to go around after work one time, and I was like, sorry, I just tested positive. And he's like, called me straight away, and I was like, hey man, what's up? And he's like, I'm coming around. We'll just feed the mic through the window, and we're good. All right, we've just got to do it. Yeah. And so I was in like my like spare room in my flat, and
in your PJs.
And
just
then
not streaming.
No, so it was like day one of being positive.
Right.
So I was like, what is this COVID shit? It's not even that bad. And then like him and his Mrs. Victoria, they were just chilling outside. I'd like placed the chairs for them in a bean bag and some beers and stuff, and then they came round, sat down there, set up everything, and then woke up the next morning feeling like absolute ass, with like sore throat from singing and sore throat from COVID. But did I think 3 of the tunes on the album. Like I think Shit Day was one of them. Quite abrasive songs for me to be yelling in the middle of Mount Eden, to be fair. But yeah.
On the live EP, there's one called what? Fucked? Yeah. I'm loving the titles. Shit Day, Fucked. You know?
we got one that's She Good, which is literally shit good song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it ended up being good.
Yeah. I can't remember. It was literally like a Facebook comment or something that was like, oh, we've got this new song that's kind of shit or kind of good. And then someone was like, you should call it Shit Good or something like that, or shit good. And so the title stuck and we never got rid of it.
Yeah.
It's like, we're terrible at naming songs. I'm terrible at writing lyrics, but we're even worse at naming songs. Like,
I mean, that's been a constant theme, again, from that first interview. You're like, yeah, I'm pretty shit at lyrics, but I'm kind of getting better.
Fast forward.
Yeah.
that was so long ago, and I haven't got any better.
That was 2014 because I just rewatched it recently.
Yeah. I must say, like, there's one song that Milo wrote the lyrics for, which is called Die in Hell. And all the rest are like, some of them are made up on the spot, which is very me. And then just reverse engineer it to figure out what I'm writing about. Sorry. So like, going back. But then the other half is like songs that I'd kind of formulated in my head with lyrics and then brought them, and then we just finessed them and brought different parts, rewrote them, or Sean had written this song, and then Miro would be like, here's a book, here's a pen, write. Like for Sunday and
the best bit when I was like, I've got this song, and I was the worst because the while I was in it, I was like, I've got this song, we'll play it. James was like, fuck yeah, this is going good. I'm like, I hate it. Yeah. Get rid of it. And
playing with this guy.
Then we got this song, which is Sunday, and James is like, oh, what are the lyrics about? And I was like, oh, I literally just tried to rip off an Elton John rip, which, Saturday night, and he's like, oh, okay, Sunday.
So Sunday it is. Yeah.
It sounded exactly the same.
It's like the thing with writing with Sean, right? So I've any writing I've ever done has just been, within Deadbeat Boys or high school projects. So it's always been like bringing little bits here and there. Yeah. Sean comes in and he's like, oh, so I got this song. And then he's like,
it'd be a demo and it's 3 minutes long.
Programmed drums, bass, guitar,
mixed
like
mastered.
Yeah, the whole thing's there. Phases, flange, everything's there. And you're just like, this is amazing. What do I do with this? Like, like it was so hard for us to pick apart and find like
things to change.
But you're such a prolific.
I just let everyone if you want to change it, just fucking change it because I just hate it.
He's such a prolific writer that like anything he brings, like he'll bring three songs the next one, or 6 songs the next practice. It's insane.
It's insane. All the files on my Google Drive. It's like, I could have like 10 albums with all this crap sitting there.
At least you name them. If it was me, it'd be like new song 21. New song 148.
Usually it goes like gent riff or heavier gent riff or gent odd time. It doesn't change.
It's like Deadbeat Boys song
titles. Yeah. She Good. New one.
New one. John's one.
Yeah.
Screaming. Yeah. I still call it Jono's song, even though we call it 1993 on the EP. It's still Jono's song to me.
Yeah.
He brought the riff,
what
and
was
that
on
was
the
it.
set list.
Yeah.
All those like
Jono's
the demo titles or the early titles, they're like hard to kill.
Yeah.
Like how many times have you been like, I don't know if you're like on stage like looking at introing your song and almost saying the demo name.
So 2 was called Poo. That was like the original title.
P-U.
Yeah. That was the original title for 2.
You should have gone with that.
No, we shouldn't have. Two's just as bad, but it's but like there's been some really diabolical titles that I'm terrible at introing songs. It's just like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we just start the song like,
And just hope everybody knows where we're at.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've got set lists and hope for the best.
Yeah. How for the album, how'd you go about with guitars? Like, did you mic up? Was it sort of miking up an amp, or did you run DI and then just sort of mic after, or
No,
sort of
mic
reamp after?
No, Mike
Yeah.
the amp. There's only the bass we DI'd, eh?
Yep.
Everything else was just tracked. Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you run through?
We ran through Milo's Victory amp.
Oh yeah.
So that was good fun. And then just a large array of pedals,
Yeah.
which everyone got involved in.
Yeah.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
Was like mirror recording, and Sean, you're just sitting there. Do you want to just muck around with all his
Yeah.
pedals? I'm just like, Mira's like, no, you're too shit. I'll do it. And I was like, okay, I'll just,
Hits record
I'll
runs
just
over.
sit here. Yeah.
Close few knobs and just, yep, that's what I wanted.
That's the one I want. I was like, cool, you do it.
I mean, that's the way to get a vibe for an album, as opposed to just kind of like, let's just track the performance and then fuck around with it later. If you've actually got it in there while you're doing it and mucking around with the sounds there, that's how you can find like a character for the album. Like I've been in it, say like Roundhead, when someone's been recording, and then they're like, I don't know, to the house engineer, they're like, what's that? And they're just like, can you patch me into that? And then they just fucking like, all right, let's put the guitar through that and turn it around and shit like that. And so, okay, what noise do we get from this? Oh, that'll work for this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just about like fucking with shit.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
That's the best bit with Milo is he
Milo's
just
specialty.
he loves the wackiest, craziest shit. Whatever you do or whatever he does, he's like, yep, I'll do it. Like, It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
The man has like more instruments than sense.
Yeah.
Like you go into
That's kind of how you want it.
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like you'd go every time we go into the practice room, there'd be something else
New
there.
toy,
Like
eh?
it'd be the stylophone or like a vocoder, you know, like a new synth. And like for him, every like demo we'd get back or like new mix we'd get back from him would have some different like layer
It's just
to
slotted
it.
in here or
Like,
there. Yeah.
You'll notice on the album, there's like bits of like audio, and it's just stuff that he's recorded of us talking, or, you know, it was at my wedding and he was recording my speech, like this little bit of me just saying like, oh, just thanks everyone for coming. Or, you know, there's things where we pulled audio from a video that we shot when we were on tour with Baker's Eddie in Christchurch in a van going to a pub at 9 a.m. You know, like there's all these little things that he's slotted in
Random
there.
throwbacks.
Yeah, it's so like there's really like there's a lot of him in it, like because of his way of finessing sound
And his taste and-
yeah, but there's also a lot of us in it, literally. You know?
As you'd expect when it's your album. But, you know. But it's cool having those extra bits for even just for the sake of this album coming out after everything's kind of done and dusted, where you've got these little bits that are kind of like throwbacks. Throwbacks as far as the songs, because as far as they were like written ages ago.
Yeah.
But then these little sound bites or weirdnesses as well.
It's very
Us.
Memory
Yeah.
lane.
I would say.
Damn
Yeah.
memory lane.
like, you know, like there's been so many things. Like, I mean, John can attest for how much we've been through, tours, gigs. Like, man, it's just it's a trip to think about everything, you know, like literally jumping in a juicy rental and driving all the way down to Wellington for a gig with Bakers, not having anywhere to sleep, going to their manager's place to borrow some blankets, then driving out to like Karori or Karore or you know, like south west Wellington or whatever the fuck it was, and staying at Jamie's house on a whim because we didn't know it was either that or sleep in the van.
Yeah.
And then driving back the next day in one big trip. And Sean nearly quit after.
And it was his first,
he had the
was
last
it?
leg. Yeah, it was like his first.
That was my first
I
proper.
went to the band. Can you drive?
Yeah, it was my proper first gig out of Auckland. Like the first one I did was Ding Dong, and I was in another band, so I was doing that. And then I was like, I didn't really know these guys. I knew James a bit, and I was like, I'm going on tour with like random people I don't really know. We'll see if I survive. And I'm still here. So
16 hours of driving later.
yeah.
Awkward trying to figure out where to sleep. You're like, fuck this.
So that, like, do you remember we started that Snapchat?
Yeah.
Yeah, like instead of, you know, like now you've got Instagram stories, but At
Yeah.
that point, when we were on tour, there was no Instagram stories.
We
So
made a deadbeat one, and said, subscribe this and we'll just send to all.
and we like put
And that
up
was the story.
Yeah. So like every like thing we would just send to everyone, send a Snapchat to everyone or put it up on our, Snapchat story or whatever. And we started with no followers like on this. I think we ended up like by the time we got to Wellington, there was 100. And by the time we got home, there was maybe 200. Like it was the weirdest trip of just like, like there's videos of us pissing on the side of the, expressway in Wellington and, like all sorts of weird stuff.
Proper rock and roll shit,
But yeah, it was like, there's so many things that we just took for granted at that time where it was just like, it was a bit of a trip.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been talking for ages and John has said nothing.
He said a couple of bits and
He's the
pieces.
quiet one.
He's the
Yeah.
quiet one.
He's George Harrison.
Yeah, just sprinkle in there.
What's between us?
So what's one, John, then, what's one of your, if you were to, if you think of the Deadbeat Boys journey, like what's something that's kind of like one moment that really stands out to you?
Good question.
That is a tough one. There's a lot of those.
Just start rattling them off.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Top 10?
Top 20.
For better
20.
or worse. It doesn't have to be good.
Well, it was pretty cool to finally play Power Station. That was definitely, it's one of those venues you always drive by, you look at, you've gone to gigs there and you're like, we don't have 2,000 followers to come to one of our gigs.
Yeah.
So being able to open and say you've played the venue twice?
Three times.
Three times.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely, that was definitely one of the highlights. Obviously, our final gig had the
was
nostalgia to it. So,
Yeah.
but no, even just playing our gigs, probably one of my favorite one was it? I want to say Altitude, but we had to go to Hamilton
Yeah.
and slip me who we were playing for, but the task was we'll go down there and play a gig, but we had to sell 200 tickets in Auckland for people to come down with us. And let me tell you that I don't even know if he sold one.
We sold a single ticket. He gave us a stack of 200 physical tickets, and he was like, if you guys can sell this will be really good.
But it was one of those, it was, we got a gig to play. We'll play the
Easy,
gig, cool. And then
easy.
a week before, 2 weeks before, also, can you just don't know if anyone's come, but we assume you'd be bringing a crowd, the Auckland, the usual. And we're like, yep. Yeah, our crowd? Yeah, about that. Yeah. News to me. Yeah. So it was a large venue.
I think we played with Setting Fire to Stacey then.
But yeah, it was probably around that time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It was a weird. I think Waikato Rocks was the thing that put it on, and this guy was just it might have been a Ponzi scheme. Who knows?
Yeah.
You sell these
A
tickets.
bit of embezzling or something,
Who knows? But yeah,
That was a laugh. That was
Yeah.
fun.
it was a trip.
How about you guys?
I mean, there's we played at Vegas Girls or Las Vegas Strip Club.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
With Quinn the Human, and it was the first time I'd ever seen Skinny Hobos. That was one of their first gigs, I think. And I was like, terrible name, terrible band name. What do I know? Look
They're
at
not
me.
going
What-
anywhere.
Yeah, what do I know? But as soon as I heard that fucking octave pedal of his,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sold. Give it to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, playing on the longest, it's a catwalk. It's a strip club, so there's a big long catwalk, and we set up the drums down the bottom, and Skinny Hobos opened. Then Quinn played, and when Quinn played, I think one of them was dating one of the strippers at the time, so they came on, kits off. It was literally
It's a tough act to follow.
It was very tough. So
Five sweaty boys come on.
our solution was we don't have strippers coming on. Let's take our kit off. 'Cause that's what people want to see. A man who weighs 60 kilos soaking wet with no kit on. But yeah, I ended up, some guy poured a beer over my head. One of my workmates at Hell's Pizza got kicked out because he hopped up on stage too many times. The strippers ended up coming out because we played Suffragette City by David Bowie, and they loved that song. And then
Probably felt sorry as well.
yeah, that was
It's everybody's leaving. We've got to try.
Stay, come on.
But yeah, it was the most surreal thing. Even just as the gig finished, like we were starting to pack up, and then the guy comes on the mic and he's like, all right, in the next 10 minutes, Candy's going to be coming up on stage.
Lights dim.
Yeah.
It was super
And you're just
weird.
like, that's right, we're at a strip club.
That was
get
like
our gear
before
out
it was
of
like, yeah. But yeah, that was like peak for me. Also, yeah, Power Station was a trip because the first Power Station gig was the night of the mosque shooting. So it was like
Right.
the mosque shooting had happened during the day. Auckland was very like locked down because there was those bomb threats, and so people were coming to watch Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, and we were opening, and we were the first people to take the stage. We had Five for Glory was also opening with us. They were playing after us, but I think I stood up on stage like in front of everyone for about 2 minutes just before I could even muster the words to say I don't know what has happened today, like I just want to try and help take people away from what's happened, and we're just going to act like idiots until and hopefully play some good music, so just try and have a good time. And we had the best time, but yeah, it was just this kind of like that moment where we got back to the green room after, and we were just like, we're all sitting there just like, that was both the highest high and the lowest low, like what do you do at that point where 50 people have, like, we're still reading about like, oh, they've tactically exploded at someone's backpack in Britomart, train station, and oh, it's just updated, there's 49 people dead now, there's 51. Like it was horrifying. Like it was fucked. Like it's actually fucked. and we didn't think we'd ever get the chance to play there again, and luckily we did. It started this weird momentum, but it's this kind of weird situation where our first ever Power Station was
then.
yeah. So that was my favorite. Yeah. What about you, Sean?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Lucky last.
Mine's definitely Power Station. I said to these guys, I was like, I'm not playing small. I'm not playing
Hey,
small
yeah,
anymore.
you were gonna quit the band. You
I
were
was
like,
like,
ever
I'm
did a
leaving
gig
the
smaller, eh?
I'm
Yeah.
leaving the band if we don't play big stadiums. Like,
he was actually
It
on
was-
his way out, and then we're like, oh, maybe we can get Ben like our old drummer Ben Martelli. He might be able to fill in. Then we hit up Sean. I was like, look, Sean, we've got this gig opportunity. It's at Power Station. Yeah, man.
so good. And then I pretty much stayed. I was like,
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from Power Station, I'd probably say Portland. Oh man, all those, especially one of my favorite ones. And this was my stupid idea. And we were playing with She Loves You, and I was like, to make this night go till like 1:30 in the morning, because we both don't have a lot of songs, what if we sometimes play, then switch, then the girls play some songs, then we switch? It was a dumb idea, but it was to waste time. But that was quite cool, because
I thought it was cool. Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun because you play a
Mix
few.
it up, mix it up,
You get
yeah.
to relax. People get to be like, oh, they hear a few of this, and the genres are completely different. So it was, that was a favorite of
Because once you're
mine.
off stage, you're just like, I just want to be up there again.
Yeah.
But the ability to then be like, well, you're up there again another 2 times.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it was quite cool, and
That was fun. Yeah.
yeah, and then obviously John didn't bring it up, but for me, this wasn't anything to do with gigging, but we had just played a gig in Valhalla, I think, or Meow or something, and we went out to Boogie Wonderland. Man, that's a big highlight for me. That was
If you scroll back
Big
far
man
enough
Wellington.
on the Debbie Boys Facebook timeline, there'll be a point where it pops up and it says Debbie Boys have checked into Boogie Wonderland at like 1 a.m.
that was that's a big highlight.
That was the night we played Zeal. So we toured with Baker's Eddie and Skelter, and we were in Wellington. It was we played a.
It was Valhalla and Meow, or was
No. So Valhalla was the one we went down on the trip back up and down with you.
oh
That
yeah,
the
it was
first
Zeal
gig.
and Meow for
Zeal,
the tour.
so
yeah.
Meow was without John, and then Zeal was with John. And that was when I hopped up on that big speaker stand and shat my pants while I was up there. Yeah.
And we're just playing, and we look up, and he's just stuck there.
Yeah.
He just gives that look.
I
Like, I can't get that.
looked at this kid in the crowd, and I threw him the mic, and he caught it and just let out this belter of a scream, and I was like, here we go, sweet, I'm just gonna let myself down easy.
Yeah. Now I can climb down while everyone's distracted.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
But then it was like we played an all ages gig, and then went and got shit faced with Skinny Hobos and Quinn the
to be
Human.
playing
That's
downstairs.
right. They
was
were
playing
down
in-
there. Like,
Yeah, they were
what
playing
the-
in like Bodega or something like that. and it was just the weirdest coincidence. And then we just ended up out in the piss and out until like 5:30. We had a 7:30 flight the next day. Me and John got home, like snuggled into bed next to each other, and then like our alarm went off 45 minutes later.
Wasn't
and
worth sleeping over.
No.
Like, yeah, nah, cap
Yeah.
740.
yeah, it was just
Wasn't worth it.
no.
Yeah, there's like so many highlights for me.
Yeah.
Even like Napier with
Silence the
Silence.
Silence the City, not City of Souls. Silence the City.
And that was cool because I think that was their hometown or some of the boys.
Yeah, I think
it was
it was
their
the singers
hometown,
there,
and just
yeah.
seeing that
Yeah.
that town, and even that was like quite rowdy, and that was just a whole different vibe. But that was also really cool. And that's when we got tagged in the Deadbeat Boys are playing at Homegrown, and it was Deadbeat. So I was like, what the? Yeah.
So many,
There's too many to count. I reckon. Like,
so much,
many.
like, you know, like even before Sean, we played this one. We played at UFO once, and that was the first time we'd ever played. We played with the Jackal, who was like OG. Like, if you ever walked around Auckland in like 2012 to 2015, you'd find Jackal posters like plastered up everywhere because they just would do their own promo. That absolute legends. But that was the first time we ever played with Quinn the Human, and we were like, it blew our mind. Like, all of these dudes have pedals. Even the singer has a pedal. Like,
Yeah.
we're like, this is the pedal band. But then we just turned
It's
out
an apt description.
but then we turned out to be like really good mates with them, but yeah, we ended up, we all bought like a box of beer to UFO because it was all ages BYO.
Yeah.
Just got shit faced. It was terrible. It was terrible. We played so bad, but it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, like I think we left Vince there because he didn't want to.
You wanted to keep going.
Yeah. What else is there to do in New Lynn apart from hanging out?
UFO.
Yeah.
I think I went to one gig there. I can't remember who played, but was that the one where there's like a bunch of couches at the back or something?
Yeah.
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 Sounding
It's
familiar.
like
that was cool.
it's like take Wine Cellar and then move it to New Lynn and remove all alcohol laws.
Yeah.
It's the Wild West for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you think, like, say, if you were to, talk to yourself about to start it off again, what kind of advice do you think you'd give you starting the journey again?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
That's so
I
good,
guess.
yeah, man. Holy shit.
Deep.
I was going to say, should we start with John? But no, I guess because I'm talking, I'll just start. I don't need to because I'm that good. No. No. I
See you
think
guys. No.
for me, it was like, I wish I was more like sociable because I love to play, perform, and then these guys know I just piss off. But if I talk to myself and go, come on, just have a few more beers and just party a bit more and, make the
Get amongst
drums a
it.
little bit looser because I just wanted to just keep the time. So I was like playing with these guys,
be
like keep it
perfect.
good. So yeah, if I was just told myself to start, just be more relaxed and have fun, I reckon would have gone a lot more smoother for the like 8-7 years or whatever.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. To me, you're always like, it took us getting out of Auckland for us to really like bond. To any band that's starting, it takes moving yourself out of a comfort zone to book a show in a city where, hey, you might lose like $100 on, well, fuck, a couple of $100, who knows? But like, to book that show, to take that risk, to get to know your bandmates better,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just spoon together in undies, sort of.
Absolutely.
Or sans undies, whatever the situation is.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, it's so hard to narrow it down like to one thing because Deadbeat Boys is, like I said, been a part of my life since I was like 17, 18. But I mean, it's the points where I hit the wall. I'd say push past it. We, for so many times, I feel like we had momentum. We had so much going for us, and then we just hit the wall and stopped. And I feel like we could have done a lot more, but it probably wasn't for us this time. Like it's for us to play with bands like Bakers or She Loves You or Quinn or it's and Skinny Hobos to experience these things. Play with Dead Favors like your shirt, like to experience those things to understand that like you're a part of something bigger, you know, like you don't have to be that person. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to be on stage at Big Day Out. That was like my original goal, you know, like be on the rock. There's all these goals I'd set for myself in Deadbeat Boys, like let's get on TV. We did that. Get on the rock. We did that. Like play Power Station. We did that. Play King's Arms. But you know, like it's those harder ones. Those things where you have to go like, oh, I'm really tired, but all I want to do is like all I need to do is more promo. Like I need to book this. I need to do that. But you know, like at the end of the day, like I wouldn't change anything. You know, we've had a fucking good run, and we met a lot of really good people. You know, fucking amazing bands. There's so many good bands in New Zealand.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're so lucky. You know, yeah. John?
Well, you both stole mine.
What would you tell little John?
I would say take more risks, and it's coming from both of your points. It's the same. I felt loosen up more on stage and not be too hard on yourself during the gigs. That was definitely something you wanted. You wanted to be like, well, we're not gigging too often, so when I do, I want to make sure it's good. I don't want to screw it up, but. You know, if you go back in time and you look at the bands that are just having so much fun, you're like, oh, I should have just played a few bung notes, because the whole package is lost in that. It's everyone wants the performance. And similar to what James said, it would have been, there are a few talks of doing gigs outside of Auckland and going outside that comfort zone. And I think, again, back to the risk taking, just doing that, because as James said, when you asked us what ones were our best stories, most of them involved us leaving Auckland. So...
It's being on the road.
Yeah.
100 times over, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean we're not going to go and hang out. You know?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go sleep in the Y-Tax one night. Really bond.
Stories don't end now.
Yeah. Because what is next for you guys as far as like individually together, you know, civil unions, whatever might be coming on.
Sort all the paperwork out, settlements.
I mean, obviously albums first, but I mean, like, to say the end of Deadbeat Boys is like such a finite statement, you know, like Deadbeat Boys is so much beyond me, it's beyond us three, it's beyond every member, you know, like the whole concept of it is less about who's in it and more about what we do. You know, it's about being the most ruckus fucking rock and roll band in Auckland. It's the band, like in the cuntiest way to put it, it's the band you don't want to follow. Yeah. Like, because we do all the cool shit, you know, and it's
because
really...
the set doesn't function afterwards.
Yeah.
The stage doesn't function after.
Yeah. I can't, it sucks to say, but like, I can't tell you how many gigs we've played where we played second, or, you know, we played in the middle and the crowd left after us. Like it hurts because there's fucking great bands that you just like hang around, watch this band, they're so cool. But is it because like what we do is so insane, or like it's, you know, it's just we have fun, we do what we do. Like someone else is going to take up the mantle, someone else has got to be loose. But I mean, fuck, I don't want to stop playing with these guys. Like, fuck it, we're just going to make a new band with a different name.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I've got too many creative ideas to fucking cauterize this output. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I definitely agree with what you've just said. With everything. Wait, what was the question again?
I love it.
It's about what's coming up.
That's right. That's I was like, it's something to do with
next?
what's happening.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But I'd be keen to like, carry on with these guys, because I don't want to toot my own horn. I play with many bands because I met a lot of people through doing a music diploma and stuff.
Mains.
But don't want to promote them. No, I'm kidding.
I feel like everyone that's been to Mains knows.
But
Mains.
these guys I gel with so well, so I'd love to keep playing with them. But I mean, I'm open to anything. Like I've said to these guys and others, like I'll session for anyone. And like for me, my drug addiction is like music. Like you get real down, you play music, you get back up. It's, you know.
And then it's music again, you know, like
exactly
on
so,
both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, so it's like, it's such a, for me, it's
Very
like
apt,
my drug addiction, my thing that holds me to like, to be alive and to entertain not just myself but everyone, which is
Yeah.
so basically I'd like to keep playing with them or anyone else. Open invitation.
Anyone listening,
his number in.
please.
Yeah. If you want like 300 demos sent into your inbox, hit them up.
Come on,
No,
come
no.
on.
That's my inbox from Sean. What about you, Johnny?
Well, going back, it's probably the silver lining, I guess you would say, from the COVID experience was having everything on pause. Is I'm sure wasn't the only one to have a think about what matters and what doesn't in life when everything's on pause. And it was definitely music. That's when I really noticed, just even on the Wednesdays, even if we didn't have a practice because we couldn't make it to SIS Studio and we just catch up for a beer and a yarn, that connection with your lads in the band. That was something that I was like, well, if we're going forward, where's your happy place? It's with them and it's on stage and it's playing music. So, yeah, I would say it's obviously keep that one going.
Yeah.
It's a big book. We just closed one chapter, but see how many chapters we got left, eh?
Yeah, boy.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. And I think you were coming on it before as like, you don't really call Deadbeat Boys an ending, more like opening up to a new journey or another journey. You can
Transition.
look at it, or, a key change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want
yeah.
into
No, we can't do
musical
that.
terms?
A minor only. Please.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
035.
Yeah.
That's the Deadbeat Boys hack for you. Any young songwriters out there? 035.
Or just A.
Or just try it out and whatever you hit.
Whatever works.
Well, on that, I think it's a good point to wrap up. Is there anything that you guys wanted to say or push or anything like that before we do sign off?
I think, just thanks to everyone who's ever come and see us and all the bands that we've played with. Thanks to you, Francis, for everything you do for this music industry, and the scene, I like you guys as well. Just say your piece. Fuck. Yeah. You guys mean so much to me, and Milo, and Jake and Vince and Taylor and Matthias and JB. Everyone that's been in Deadbeat Boys. It's cool. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
And buy our album.
I want to add on to him exactly everything he said, but also like, even if you're up and coming musicians and you want to start something, like just do it and just jump on the road with people and just give it a go and see if you gel or not, because most of the times you're not, but you will gel with a lot of people. So
yeah, I can't tell you like how many times we've had like messages or people ask us how to put on gigs. You just got to do it. Like it's the dumbest thing to say, but like you got to take that risk.
Take the risk.
People
Yep.
like
Take the risk.
yeah. Like there's no easy way. There's no hard way. It's just you just got to fucking do it. Like it's the dumbest thing, but
and just enjoy it. Like don't aim for a goal of I want to be this artist, this band, or whatever. Just have fun.
Yeah,
and just book what you need.
Yeah, I feel like for so long I was chasing the like reaching for a point. It's like if we don't have this band on our radar or we're not playing with them, then I feel like we're in the wrong scene. But it's so naive. It's so short-sighted. Just
you create your own scene.
Gigs are gigs. Like like if like the last gig we played with our old bassist Jake, his band Frank. They're fucking amazing. They just released 27, their new single. It's amazing. But we also played with Mira's other band, Rooms, and they're like a fucking surfy kind of groovy band. And there's no need to create a gig that is like, this is all just
exclusive
rock. We're playing rock music. Like fucking just expand your horizons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music is fucking so cool. Just learn from other people.
Opening up that mixing pot just kind of lets the night be its own. You're not just like, this is another rock night. This is another metal night. It's like, this is a gig. This is a gig. This is cool.
Can you believe that groovy part that band threw in that was like really kind of genty, but they were playing it with with heaps of chorus and no like gain. So it kind of like your brain can picture it as like a Animals as Leaders type thing, but they're picturing it as like just something jazzy and you're like, oh man, that's super dope.
Shit, yeah.
It's like a good Spotify playlist, eh?
Yeah. It's a bit of everything.
Just hit shuffle.
Yeah.
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 No,
For sure.
thanks heaps for coming on. It's been awesome being able to share the story, and also be able to like in a way share the journey with you guys over the I mean, I first met you guys in 2014. So,
But you would have like we knew, we knew
before
about
that.
you. Like we'd seen you at the gigs. That's the whole thing we've been fucking talking about. That's the scene, man.
extended
family, you know?
Yeah.
No, and the like, I want to extend the same gratitude to you, man. Like again, without blowing smoke. But yeah, the things you and everyone does for the Auckland music scene is pretty dope. Like, fucking this place is amazing. It's beyond words to put in to say that like what we've done wouldn't have been the same without people like you or it's
Just all those people involved.
yeah, man. It's cool.
It makes you realize it's bigger than its like component parts.
For sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many people in our scene that do things for just the love, you know, like the love or the mahi, like the enjoyment of it, you know, like it's trippy.
Yeah. So the take home message: take risks and have fun.
Yeah.
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 Shit, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Bang on.
That's the way you make friends, you know?
Shit, yeah. But yeah, so on that, thanks for watching. And check out Deadbeat Boys and their self-titled album whenever that ends up coming out, which may be 3 years from now. Who knows with these
No one
guys?
knows. Track record.
You'll never know.
Pressure them for a vinyl release, and they might do it.
Nah, thanks, Francis.
Yeah, thank
man.
you for
cheers.
having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, sweet,
Cheers.
cool.